I'm Richard Howard, Head of Energy and Environment at Policy Exchange, a think tank. We've released a report today called Going Round in Circles, and it looks at waste and recycling policy following Brexit. Our policies concerning waste are very heavily determined by the EU at the moment, very heavily controlled by the EU. The EU has set in place a number of different directives which set out both what we mean by waste and how we should be dealing with waste, and the policies and targets in respect of waste and recycling. And those policies have had already a very transformative effect on the way that we think about waste in this country. We produce less waste than we did 10 or 15 years ago, we recycle more than we used to, and less of our waste goes to landfill. But there are still a number of problems with these policies. Specifically, it's very clear that the policies are adding costs to UK businesses. The EU's proposed a new set of policies called the Circular Economy Package, which, if we adopted in the UK, it's been estimated would add £2 billion worth of cost to UK businesses and households. So it's very clear that the EU is not designing policies with the UK in mind. The EU's policies concerning waste and recycling are also very, very unclear. It's unclear what they're trying to achieve in terms of the environmental outcomes or economic outcomes. And that's really the central proposition of this report, is that the UK should no longer follow the EU's policies, but instead define its own set of policies concerning waste and recycling. And the report really focuses on the idea that we should think about resource productivity rather than thinking about landfilling or recycling. We should think about being more productive and efficient with the resources we use. In the report, we make three key recommendations about what the government should be doing. The first is that there should be far greater emphasis on waste prevention and the reuse of materials and goods. Although the EU talks about this an awful lot, a lot of the policies are not actually geared towards this at all. They're geared towards recycling, and there's a huge opportunity to reuse the materials and goods that we consume. For example, on the household waste sites where people go to take their recycling or their residual waste, there's no opportunity for them to put aside materials which are reusable. In fact, under current laws, that's technically illegal for them to do that. So that's something that clearly needs to change. Another thing that needs to change is our collection systems for recycling. At the moment, it's estimated there are over 400 different collection systems for recycling in different parts of the country, which creates a huge amount of confusion amongst households. So we really need to have much more standardisation and commonality in the way that we collect waste and recycling. And this could be achieved. Lots of people are talking about this already. It just needs to start happening. The third thing is that we need to get more energy from the residual waste we have. So rather than sending waste to landfill, and also rather than exporting waste to other countries, which is something that happens at the moment, 3 million tonnes of waste is exported mainly to continental Europe at the moment, we should be extracting energy from that waste. And there's a number of different ways that can be done, including some very innovative solutions. For example, turning black bag waste into green gas, which we can use to heat our homes. So there's a number of concrete examples of how government policy could totally reinvent the way we think about waste so that we get far more out of our resources and waste materials.